Never. Eric. One meeting going. How many more days you got? How many more days? 13 days.
Good. All right, welcome everyone to committee meetings for Wednesday, June 5th. Start off with health services.
Good evening, everybody. We'll open up Health Services Committee meeting at 6:01. We have Laura Churchill, the Director of Public Health, is going to give us a brief PowerPoint presentation regarding the new mobile clinic van.
Good evening, everybody. We just wanted to give you an update, and you might remember that we got this van back in December, and so we were just going to kind of give you a short overview of what we've been doing with it and get buy-in from you guys, and also suggestions on how else we can utilize it. So, right. So the services that we can provide in the van are very similar to what we can provide on site. So things that we can do testing for HIV and STD, we can offer birth control, vaccines, and then education-wise, anything that we do in the office, we can provide in the van as well. So you'll see a whole list of those: family planning, harm reduction, vaccines, rabies, lead, and stop the bleed. Total people served so far include those that have been education, outreach, and then clinical services. So that looks like a big number, but it's actually the clinical people is far less. But what's been good about it, and I'm going to show you a video in a second that we did some outreach, is that we can get to places that we don't always, people that don't come in the clinic, they might go to the van. So we're trying to gain, I'd like for you all to take it back to your constituents, talk about it, promote it so that we can see more uptake. So Kevin, if you can hit, we'll see this. So this has been pushed out through social media and through various direct TV to try to gain, help people see information and learn about it. You'll notice in the very beginning when they opened the door, there's that special step that we got. We had one for the ins to step into the front and then out the back of the van. And Tom Hoyt came around the first time we used it to double check the safety of it, make sure that that it was the right tool for the thing. And you'll see how nice it is inside, right? It's very bright and open. There's a little seat with 2 seats, a table and 2 chairs as you walk in. And then in the back, there's a private door that you can close when somebody's in there doing the clinic. And the reason we wanted to sort of promote this is that we can use it telemedicine. So somebody can be at home and do telemedicine, or they can go to the van and have the services that we need, and we can have them telemedicine into a provider that's sitting here in the clinic. So that was one of the things that we wanted to really promote. Okay. When we look at the people that have been served in 5 different locations, we've had 14 people with clinical services. A majority by just a little bit have been male, which is a little higher skew than what we see in the clinic. And then age-wise, we are seeing a younger demographic and more people of color. And one of the places we've used is at the youth clubhouse. So sometimes people will go in the van when they won't come through the door downstairs. So this is a good thing. We talked about that telehealth grant that was through the family planning that paid for this video. And one of the most important things that I want to try to talk about is that this is a very expensive van, right? I can't just have people out there driving this. So we've made a really pointed effort to make sure that the staff were trained. So we've had 16 people that work in the public health and family planning make sure that they knew how to drive the van, that they knew how to power it on and off, that they knew how, the generator, and then also what are the education and outreach. So if I have somebody that comes up to the van and has questions, everybody that's in that serving that van needs to know everybody's work. So it's been really good in terms of staffing to help people understand what everybody else is doing. And so we're ready to do this, using it more in the summertime. So in the future, we are definitely working with, looking for human resources. We sent out a survey to the seniors to see what were the reasons why people miss or don't have their vaccines, their flu vaccines, their winter vaccines. And so we're hoping to go to the senior centers, and I'm working with Tom to go to Wyndham. And we are also going to take it back to our next rabies clinic. And the farmer's market, it was a big hit a couple weekends ago, Memorial Day weekend at the farmer's market here in Catskill, and the Greene County Youth Fair. And finally, one of the things that we've found is that kids are getting kept out from school because their vaccines are not updated. So they have this window of time, and if they don't get their vaccines, then they actually get withheld from school. And so we've been working with the nurses in the schools, going to the offices to try to get the kids up to date. But we're actually hoping to have some vaccines this summer at the youth fair and take the van to the school districts prior to the start of school, see if we can be there to get these kids vaccinated, so that they don't miss school, so they're not withheld. And finally, Kayla Ecott is the brainchild. I've put Kayla in charge. She's a long-term public health family planning employee. She's amazing. She's been in charge of making sure that everybody is trained, that the staff know what they're doing, that we have trainings and meetings so that we have a schedule, so everybody knows what everybody's doing. So I give Kayla all the credit. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here tonight. So questions, feedback, suggestions? Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So the personnel that operate the vehicle, is there an SOP in the van? So kind of an outline, so if there is a question, they can refer to a
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah, there's actually a binder, and everybody has to read the binder, and there's a sign-off sheet in the binder to make sure they understand it. And then they had to actually be shown, they had to show us how to turn on the. Yep, and there's a number that we can call the van manufacturer, the office itself where we got the van, and you can pick up that number and call them on business hours, and they'll answer, troubleshoot with us, because we've had a couple of issues with it, and they answer the phone and talk us through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, where do you keep that van right now?
The van is kept at the Allen Street, because it has a special plug. We keep it plugged in, and especially in the cold. Yeah. Yep. We had another issue with it too, with the gas. There was an issue with the diesel, it didn't fit. We had to get a new, so then they actually put in a thank you to the transportation folks. They actually put in a special thing so that we could fill it with gas. So, yeah.
No place to keep that out of the sun and rain and.
Well, when we first got it, we tried.
Expensive unit, yeah.
Yeah, we actually reached out to a couple of our partners to see if there was a place that we could keep it in. Nobody seemed to have any space that currently has vehicles. Yeah. So the next time, if you have an opportunity and you want to see it, whatever you want to do at the next rabies clinic in Caro, we'll have it there. You can stop in and see it. I encourage you to look at it. It's beautiful. It's exciting. We're happy to have it. The one thing about it is it doesn't have a bathroom, which I'm told by other van people that that's actually maybe not a bad thing. So when we partner with agencies, we just have to make sure that they have a bathroom that we can use. So for example, the clubhouse, the libraries, Greene County Mental Health is where we've taken it as well. So, yeah.
If a client comes in and say gets a vaccine, is there coordination with their personal physician so that their health records are all kept up to date?
Yeah, that's a great question. All vaccines that we give anywhere all go into the New York State Immunization Vaccine Registry. So then when they go to their primary care provider, they can see all the vaccines they've gotten and where they got it.
Did you say you plan on taking it to the youth fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That would be a good showcase.
Yeah. Yeah. And the next time, knock on wood, there's another disaster, emergency, whatever, the van can be there. We can provide all those things all the services that we need right there with the van. So, I remember in Irene, we were out there driving around and things, and it would have been nice to have this there we were giving vaccines, I think Hep A vaccines. And so it would have been nice to have this. And so, hopefully we won't have a disaster, but you never know. They seem to creep up on us.
Athens Community Day is June 8th.
Okay, yeah, we're actually going to be tabling there that night.
Very good.
Yeah.
I thought you would be.
Yeah. Oh. Any other questions?
Or another question that doesn't pertain to the van, it's on one of the resolutions that you have for escape. 24 feet.
Number
Is it mental health?
Mental health.
Oh, yeah, there it is, okay. 1,000 feet, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Coming
You
attractive.
know, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to take the van to like the firemen's, volunteer firemen's parade down
Okay,
the county has, because there's a lot of people go there, and it'd be nice, even if they don't use it, at least they would see the services there and they might ask about it.
great. And how would I know about those dates of that?
It's second week in September. The parade is Saturday in Carroll
Okay,
this year. Parade starts, I think it kicks off at 1 or 2,
I think it's 7th.
Yeah.
September 7th.
but you'd have to obviously go through the Greene County Volunteer Firemen Association to see if you could get in the parade, right? Round top. And if you did, that would be great. If not, at least you can park it down. There's festivities afterwards in the Carroll Town Park
wonderful.
where they give out the awards and different things down there. So be nice.
Yeah, that sounds great. Any other suggestions? You all have my email. Just please feel free to email and call me. Great. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's that? What's he laughing at?
First resolution, authorizing agreement, Greene County Mental Health and Quest Star 3. Blumer,
Second.
Hobart, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Authorizing agreement, Greene County Public Health Department and John Consult, RPH Pharmacy Services.
Vera?
Lennon.
Era and Lennon,
Lucas Lennon.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
Yeah.
Amending capital project number 127, opioid settlement. Handle, Davis, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Budget amendment and authorizing purchase of one new 2023 Ford Escape.
Davis.
Davis and Bloomer, all in
It's the
favor?
one I have a question on.
Yeah.
I could just ask Jason, these bids that you got, how is this spec'd out? Because I see this is a 23 and there was bids for 24s that are only like $500 more.
We asked that question to purchasing, and we were told that the way the bid is, I think the system, Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, the way the state does it.
It basically states OGS, because we're in their bid system, they require us to go by the lowest, so we went by Ford Escape. We have, price has to be the factor, they don't let us factor here.
Oh, like you can factor value though. I'm just wondering how the bid spec was written out, if it's 23
We
and
went,
24.
we went for Ford Escape, we didn't specify a year at that point, I think we would have to draw bid at that point. So, we will try to wiggle out of it with OGS, it does become a little cumbersome.
Yeah, there's a way to put a value on things. Just look at that. I just think it's a better deal at 24 for $500 more.
No, I
Then it would be at 23.
understand, I think it went through the rules.
And this one comes out of Oklahoma?
Yes, that is the one. from-
Seriously?
Yeah, that is the one that comes out of, yeah.
Yeah, break it in.
And this is coming from ARPA funding, correct?
Not our
Federal?
it's-
It's our salary
Workforce
sharing.
block grant.
Children's Workforce Block Grant.
Which I think was funded through ARPA.
That is in our.
So we're gonna get federal money from the state. Federal and spending it on the low. Okay,
Can't say I always agree with the OGS, but
yeah, I don't think I agree with that either. Okay.
Can I also ask what off-site services we're expanding?
So those, that particular grant is for expansion of the family peer support services, which are CFTSS, and those are, in the community services. She's a family peer advocate, she goes home to home and supports the family in advocacy for the child. So we've been utilizing leftover cars, hand-me-downs from Kairos department over the past 20 years. So decided to use that replace her vehicle that she was driving.
So previously you were using a vehicle, social services.
Yeah, they were hand-me-downs, we don't ever get new vehicles.
And now there's mics.
Yeah, and there's a family of mice.
All right, any more questions? All in favor?
Reluctantly, aye.
Still an aye.
It is.
Opposed? That is carried. Is there anything else to come before health services this evening?
Also close.
We could also just extend our thanks to Kayla for her work on that project. It's a big undertaking.
My name is Luna. You're out.
Thank you, Tammy. I'd like to call County Resources to order at 6:16. We do not have any action items for the month of June, but we do have Stella. She's from Create, and she's here to give an update on the council.
Good, how are you? Good to see all of you. As you can see, I've brought a guest. We have a new board chair. Her name's Maria Warshaw, who started in March, and I wanted you all to meet her, so I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi there, my name is Maria Warshaw, and I am a resident of Athens, been there since 2018. And I joined the Create board about 1.5 years ago and became its chair or president. Not sure which one we're using, a couple of months ago. And I'm thrilled to be in this position. I'm still learning quite a bit about how Create serves our Greene County community. I'm proud that our predecessor in name, the Greene County Council on the Arts, has served this community for so long. I've gone through 25 years of board minutes already to learn more about the ways that we have done it and to compare it with what we're doing now. I'm very excited about the plans that we have for this year, for next year. And before I just turn this back over to Stella, I wanted to tell you that I had a really terrific conversation with our program officers at the New York State Council for the Arts recently. You may know that they are the governing agency behind all of the state arts councils, and they're also behind the purpose that Greene County Council on the Arts was asked to serve 3 counties, Greene County, Columbia County, and Schoharie County. So it was their request that made that happen. I'm still not sure I understand it completely, but I do know that it is replicated throughout the state. And I imagine that it has to do with an allocation of financial resources. I'm very proud of the work that we're doing at the gallery. I'm very proud of the work that we're doing throughout this community. They're really excited about it and look forward to supporting us even more than they're doing now. So, Stella.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maria, M-A-R-Y-A.
Okay.
My mother was Gloria Maria. My grandmother was Maria with a J.
And I just want to add, Maria didn't talk about her background at all, but she comes from over 30 years of being an executive director, a founder of an arts organization, and I benefit from mentorship as well as partnership in working with her. So it's just been really incredible, even for a couple months, just getting to work with her and learn from her. And yeah, we're really excited about some of the things that we have going on. So the most exciting thing is we have been writing checks to our grantees for the statewide community re-grant program, which is the NISCA funded program that we administer, which is the biggest program. We do, it's $162,000 or $162,500. And Greene County artists and organizations are receiving $52,000. We got about 27 requests totaling in about $97,000. And so, we're really excited to be funding these projects, but we're only able to fund about half, which we're going to go back to the state and tell them how much need and creativity is happening here. So I actually see it as an opportunity. I brought the list of the grantees here that I can leave with you all. There's some really exciting things happening for the summer and fall that I would love to see you all at. And our grant ceremony for Greene County is scheduled for Wednesday, July 24th at the Mountaintop Arboretum. And I will send out an email invitation to all of you to that. Would love to see you there. And I just wanted to also note that our Greene County panel, we had 7 volunteers. They're anonymous, but they were a very impressive group of people, leaders of organizations in our community, very passionate about seeing the arts in the community. So I just wanted to note that we had 7 volunteers and the minimum is 5. And so we had the largest panel in Greene County. So let's see. The gallery, we have our 4th show mounted right now, which is the member show. It's 52 local artists. And generally we're seeing about 60 to 70% of artists participating in our shows that are Greene County based, really strong showing. And we've we're seeing about 100 people at our openings. In February for our women's show, we had over 200 people in the gallery, which is really exciting. People are really coming and participating, and it's been really fun. I guess also in conjunction with that women's show, we had a tribute show to Dina Burston, who is a Catskill-based artist who passed away last year. And so we were really privileged and honored to have a showcase of her work. We also hosted our 41st Outside the Line show, which is the youth art show. And we had participation from a number of schools in Greene County: Windham, Ashland, Jewett, Cairo, Durham, Coxsackie, Athens, and the Catskill schools. And along with the 150 student works, we invited teachers for the first time to showcase their work alongside their students, which was really fun, and I think something that we're going to continue to do. The gallery, we've also, outside of the shows, have been opening it up to community organizations and people in the community to host meetups, and we've also started hosting meetups for artists. A monthly meetup that we're starting to do is Creative Crit, for local artists to kind of meet each other and give each other feedback. We're rotating them throughout the counties that we serve, but we hosted the first one in April at the gallery. Also been working with Questar. They're piloting a mentorship program for their STEM high school student. I have a mentee who is at the Cairo Durham School, who is interested in curatorial work and just in the arts in general. So that's been really fun talking to her, which might lead to some internship opportunities. And I just wanted to note something that has been interesting that's been happening is I've gotten some phone calls over the last couple months from people visiting the area that are reaching out to the Arts Council because they have a local arts council and they're curious to know about, is there an artist that can come teach our group, family reunion, some sort of, painting or something. We also had one in particular that I thought was really interesting was a creative agency based in like the Maryland DMV area. They were bringing their team up of about 8 people. So they stayed in Catskill for a few days and hosted their retreat here. And they were curious to visit artists in the area and just talk to them about what their creative community was like and living here. So we were able to facilitate, these types of connections and relationships, which has been kind of unexpected and really exciting, but makes a lot of sense because the area has been, as you know, getting a lot of attention for our creative community. So we're happy to be able to serve in that way and help with some economic development too. Any questions?
So the $162,000 grant, is that divided equally between the 3 counties?
It's based on the number of applications, but the allocation this year to Greene County is about 1/3 of that amount.
So they're basically pretty equal then, 'cause I
Yeah.
know we got 52,000, so.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stella,
Yes.
do you have space available in Columbia County or Schoharie County that artists from those areas can display their art? Do they give you use or of some type of structure that you can do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. In Schoharie County, I'm still getting to know the area and build some relationships because we're working on that. There is an organization there that does a lot of work on the ground. And I think we're hosting a show of their artists. I would like to see if there's something that we could do in the Schoharie area. In Columbia County, we're not from the county, but I am working with some organizations to partner with to host a gallery show, visual art opportunities, but also interested in expanding into performing or other types of things too.
You also do the train station.
Yes, oh yeah, we do the train station.
What about Olana? One day, they're in Columbia County, one day help you host a show. I mean, that's an art-based, that is art, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So have you ever considered displaying some of your art in some of our other towns in Greene County? For example, Caro, Main Street, which is changing.
Mhm.
We have new businesses.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered reaching out to some of those owners and perhaps display some art there?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that would be very successful,
Yes.
you know?
I agree. We have a lot of really talented people. I know that actually the Coldwell Banker office that's across the street from us, they have a number of offices in different towns. They reached out, and I was able to connect them with some artists to show, because they were looking for art in their offices. And I know that that's been really good. So this is actually about a year now since I've been in this position. In year 1, I have been really focused on trying to bring as many people into the door at Catskill, because to be honest, people don't know that we're there, or they don't know what Create is.
Right.
And so.
So that's what I'm saying, if we go out,
Yes,
right,
yeah,
to the different
Yep.
towns,
definitely.
and different, like, for example, new businesses that are receptive to this,
Yes.
The art,
Mhm.
I think it would be great. I
I-
mean, you see what's happening up there. We got
Yes,
a number of businesses that are very receptive to this.
yes,
I think it'd
definitely.
be great.
Have something in the works, but nothing quite yet.
Okay,
But I think that's great.
thank you.
Thank you, Stella.
Thank you, Stella.
Thank you.
Um,
I was thinking more Route 145 in Durham.
That's what I'm talking about.
At the Blackthorn. Yeah, really, right on the front lawn of Blackthorn.
Anybody got anything else before county resources?
I don't know if this will wind up as community resources or if it's gonna wind up in economic development. Sherry had a request from somebody, position in the county as a poet laureate. So it's something that we're gonna look at. I'm not sure where this goes or.
What is it?
A poet laureate. So it's a position, let's see if I can call it up. No. No, this is, she was from another county.
Shakespearean?
I don't know. Hang on one second. But she was she had just got appointed as a poet laureate in her county. And the county legislature actually awarded her this honor. So she said, does Greene County have anything like that? I said, "No, I'm not sure, let me look into it. So I have not heard of anything like that, so, but I can what I can do is I can send everybody an email in regards to that, we can take a look at it.
What do they do?
They do poetry, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's more of, it's like, I mean, you're up there with what you do and promoting and, you know, showing your works and, you know, maybe Stella could talk to what a laureate might be.
Actually, I ran a program similar to this in another county. and
Okay,
One of the terrific things about it is that without very little expenditure other than marketing materials, you know, in this county, there are enormous number of writers and poets.
Yes.
So if someone was designated to be for the year, the Greene County Poet Laureate, you know, you discuss what the roles and responsibilities are. They can go to our schools. They can meet with high school students. They can hook up with English departments in all of the different towns and villages, as well as having some kind of, you know, presentation here, presentation at a social event. It's a way of raising the idea of what poetry is in our country by having these designations throughout the country in different counties and municipalities. And then a way of Greene County saying that this is important, especially to our young people.
like I would consider, I'm not sure whether she was or not, but Maya Angelou, you know, whether she was a laureate or not. But it's quite the honor to get.
Yeah, the country has one,
Yes.
states have them. I think New York State has a poet laureate right now. I don't remember who it is, but
So it's kind of cool if, you know, if Greene County could have one too.
Well, a 1-year term.
it's typically 1 year. Yeah.
Probably gonna look
We do it as a
into
pilot, and just, it's kind of like a no.
research on this anyway.
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to put it on note.
Send that to everybody, sure.
As a
And
request.
send it to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have Stella's
Yeah,
email.
maybe we can help with it.
Okay, that'd be great. Awesome.
The other thing I was thinking about when Stella was speaking was, I know that we had talked a while back about the Candyman parking lot, you know, that one section where we put grass in, maybe doing something with like an outdoor artwork, you know, in conjunction with Create. I mean, I think we own that space. We do. You know, if it's something that we could. I'm just thinking of like that Omni over in Columbia County where they have some of those optical. You got the brand new visitor center coming in. What's a better place than that? to put it in there?
spots
where we could draw people into.
Something
like that for like the summer.
Definitely doable.
I think, and this is just from my personal experience, but if you ride around and look at the owls, cats, the bears, the amount of artists that we have in this area is phenomenal.
It is.
And to really showcase, you know, a lot of them do 2 or 3, you know, cats, bears, whatever. And these folks don't really get any recognition except for that, you know, so, but this is an artist community and we really should be promoting that as much as we can.
That's why I said maybe like an outdoor thing for the summer, because I know that that brings a lot of people in, the cats. Every year, every day I see people out there taking pictures with them, you know. And we have spaces that the county owns, you know, as a potential location to do something for the summer. In addition to what we're doing in Carroll and Catskill.
The artist spot, yeah.
Okay, anything else come before county resources?
Motion to adjourn.
Second by Lennon, we are closed, thank you, Stella.
Why not? I agree. And they'll take it.
Thanks, Tammy. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Public Safety Committee to order at 6:35 p.m. We have 5 items. Before we get into that, we have representatives from within the department or the committee. Mr. Frisbee, you got anything for us tonight?
Good evening and thank you. As of the end of May, 232 criminal cases, 108 of which are felonies and 124 misdemeanors. That's an increase of 18 from a year ago. Total was 214. And we collected over $2,500 in criminal restitution in the month of May. Currently, we have 4 persons on GPS electronic monitoring. 2 are low risk and 2 are high risk with active orders of protection. And then 4 persons, and there's a total of 5 cases. Family court-wise, we have 5 juvenile delinquency intake cases, 4 who are in a predispositional status, 3 of which are juvenile delinquents, and 1 is a person in supervision, and 5 actually adjudicated and on probation. Family court cases, all of which are juvenile delinquents, for a total of 14. A year ago, there were 23 total, so the number has come down. That's just a brief snapshot.
Okay, so time's up since last year.
It would seem that at least it's headed our way a little bit with those numbers. We don't control who we get, so they may be
That's all decided by the courts.
the courts, the district attorney's office, public defender, and of course the plea bargains. Ultimately, it's the court, because the court is the one with the power to impose the sentence. Anything?
And tonight we have with us Sheriff Kuzminski with his monthly report.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Let's see, so last month we had 111 civil attempts, served 52 civil papers, issued 220 traffic tickets, investigated 24 traffic accidents, made 37 arrests and 1 DWI arrest. Extremely high calls for service. We handled 622 calls for service last month and made 390 traffic stops. On May 1st, the starting jail population was 24. As of May 31st, it was 32, the high for the month being 34. Officers did 17 transports, traveling 667 miles, totaling 34 hours, moving 25 inmates. And we're scheduled to transfer 6 state-ready inmates to Green Haven State Correctional Facility tomorrow. We had several interesting cases this past month, but one really stands out. On May 23rd at about 1:53 p.m., we were dispatched to a reported electrocution on North Lake Road in Haynes Falls. Deputy Storm Benjamin responded, and upon her arrival, she found Hunter Police Officer Russ McCabe and New York State Forest Ranger Seamus Peterson performing CPR on an unconscious, unresponsive male victim. Deputy Benjamin obtained her AED and proceeded to the victim along with Deputy Ryan Schrader, who was off duty but responded with the Haynes Falls Fire Department. Deputy Schrader took over CPR and Deputy Benjamin activated her AED. They applied the AED and shocked the victim, then continued CPR. After reassessing, another shock was advised and administered. They then discovered a pulse and applied a Lucas device, which was brought to the scene by a Hunter area ambulance. The victim was subsequently airlifted to Westchester Medical Center burn unit, where he was admitted with burns to his torso and foot. The victim has since been released from the hospital and is expected to make a full recovery.
Great.
So on that day, backstory to this, the victim had been working as a subcontractor for Central Hudson, trimming trees around power lines in the area. As the victim was sharpening his chainsaw on a chipper trailer attached to a boom truck, the boom operator got too close to the power line and it energized the boom. The electricity traveled down the boom, through the truck, through the trailer, into the victim, and eventually out to ground through his right foot.
Wow.
So Central Hudson advised that 19.9 kilovolts traveled through the victim. That's 19,000.9 volts. So had it not been for the efforts of Deputy Benjamin and Schrader, along with the other first responders there, the victim would likely not have survived. He does live 7 hours away from us, and he's coming by Friday to my office at 11 a.m. To meet the people who helped him that day. So you're all invited to attend if you can at 11 o'clock. We're going to present some life-saving awards and good outcome for that one. Nice case. Yeah. One other noteworthy event this past month involves Deputy Stephen J.R. Espel and K9 Mac. This month, K9 Mac earned a certification of Distinguished Therapy Dog, which is the second highest ranking therapy dog title given by AKC. Deputy Espel and K9 Mac continue to have a positive impact on the school and the children they serve and take the care of their own school district. So that's it.
Great.
Question? Thank you.
Thank you. Your new boat.
What's that?
Your new boat.
Didn't get it.
It's on order.
24 months out, probably. Ways.
Thanks, Sheriff. And from the 911 center, we have John Farrell. Dan King's with him also.
Good evening, everyone.
Good night, John.
First, we'll go over the numbers for May. EMS calls 554, fire calls 163, police 1464, the unknown 640, for a total of 821. Total calls coming in and out of the 911 center was 2,349. Mutual aid, EMS 23, fire 5, hazmat team for the month 0, and 1 call in the town of Athens for the fire investigation team. One item to just note, the BFO class that is starting over in September, Quasar, a total of 5 students are going to be in the class. 3 are from Greene County and 2 from Columbia. We're hoping for more, but it's a start in the right direction. Also, we just completed the BFO class. That's the beginning class for the new firefighters. 21 was in the class, and all 21 passed. Out of the 21, 13 have signed up for IFO, which is your interior firefighting program, which starts next week.
Is that local or
Yeah.
they go to Ames or Montour?
No, that's right in our county, right to my office. Going into the resolutions. Greene County Investigation Team. Several times I have talked to Pete, our sheriff, on this topic. And the bottom line, there's 2 things that concern me as a fire coordinator. Number 1, the courses for our volunteer firefighters. It takes, number 1, it's only available out in Montour Falls, and you have to take a 2-week course. That's 80 hours away from your job. It's been difficult to even find volunteers. I know the sheriff has tried, and quite honest, the last, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years, since the sheriff's been in his position, in order to take care of the business that is needed in the fire investigation team, he has taken his deputies out to Montour Falls to get the necessary training. And I stated to the sheriff that I feel, since the majority of the staff is from the sheriff's office, that we should be able to make a very slight move of moving the fire investigation team from emergency service to the sheriff's office. I just feel it's a sign of the times that we're up against. The handful that we do have will continue to work with the team, and there'll be no changes as far as a fire coordinator. I still have responsibilities and to work with the sheriff and his team as we move forward. But the majority of the staff is our deputies. And those are my basic reasons, and the support that the sheriff has given me since he's been sheriff, bringing his deputies in, because It's like everything else that we're doing, volunteers, just, they don't have the time, plus the state isn't offering. We met with Chief McGovern, what was that, last month, Pete? He's in charge of the arson team on the state level, and those classes are not gonna be leaving Montour Falls at all. And we were hoping they would be able to come out into the field. So that is exactly my feelings. I think it's the right step. I'm not the only county in my position making these moves. There's several other counties doing the same for the same reason. Volunteers, up together. And hopefully, I think we have what, maybe, we brought on 2 last year, I believe, Sheriff. So in order to take care of our, the task of fire investigation team, I think it's extremely necessary to just make that move. So that's the resolution.
How many members do you have on the team? How many members?
Well, we have a lot of life members that started, I would say 25, but Sheriff, I'm gonna say maybe,
If we have a dozen active.
it's, and you need helpers, okay, so you're gonna need volunteers. But those 12, am I correct, Sheriff, are mostly helpers and assistants?
So here's the question though, and I get it, it's hard to get people to volunteer and to go up away for 2 weeks. That's if they even have enough time accruals from their job or profession. Can the county offer a stipend to offset that cost? I mean, it's obviously a needed within the county.
For what we do with the EMT program.
Correct. I mean, we did what we had to do to try to get the thing over in Columbia Greene. Where we're doing an ambulance study now, is there any way we could make a line item for up to however many members a year to where we could, you know, because if you ask somebody to not go to work, whether they're getting their regular pay on top of overtime or anything, to go without that in order to provide a service to the people of the county of Greene, I think we should consider that or look into it to where we offer a stipend to offset those costs. Maybe we can get more volunteers or people involved in it.
Sheriff, you got any, thinking about any remarks?
I'm sure that would help. The general problem is volunteers in general. It's just, it's everywhere. It's not necessarily, 2 weeks is great, but just getting people to come to calls is really the problem.
Right.
We can't get helpers out.
And the guys that are investigating, Sheriff, are they, I don't want to call them more advanced, but
So
have
there's
more longevity in a department, I guess you could say?
For the most part, yeah, they're CNO specialists. There used to be some local classes they could take that would qualify them for that, but now.
I think the only thing is like an 8-hour basic course, I believe is what's local.
And
But it doesn't,
fire investigation.
right, the investigation part of it. Yeah.
It's very minimal training.
And really, the investigation part is more geared toward law enforcement than it is fire and EMS anyway. There's charges to be filed, it's not filed by the fire chief,
No, absolutely not.
it's in law enforcement, but, so it kind of makes sense to.
So, I mean, and don't,
Didn't the state always bring in like state fire on an
So they-
investigation or?
They have
state
criteria.
State fire would, as I stated to the sheriff, my feeling as the fire coordinator, whenever you lose a life, you want to bring the state in as a backup to work with the local investigators. And also if you lose a 500, just say $500,000 home, whatever the situation in business. It is really the part of the fire coordinator to reach out to the state to bring a team in to work with the local arson team. So.
Yeah, so for the run of the mill thing that the chiefs can't solve or decide what it is, it may not necessarily be the criteria for the state, which is actually $1 million, multiple structures at the same incident or death.
How many,
I guess they would come if necessary, I guess, call them, but then again, you wait 4 or 5 hours, there's stretch where you get one in Albany, I think one in.
There's one in, Gilderland, they would come.
how many fire structures did we have in Greene County last year?
Structure fires?
Fires. I don't have that number off the top of my head. But I think the team went out 17 times, something like that.
They're out at least once a month.
So moving forward, if you did take it over. So if you need to put new people on the team, deputies, you would,
Well, the deputies, they get paid in that's part of
They're
their
around,
duties,
right.
and they
So,
get sent to school.
let's just say we have new members go, I'm saying going forward, we have new members. Say they're deputies, they would just go out for 2 weeks and train as a Greene County Sheriff deputy, basically, right? Okay. Yep. Makes sense.
And we still take the volunteers though, as, especially the people who, because sometimes it takes 6 to 10 people to shove them. You might be shoveling off a floor of a 2,000 square foot. Takes you 8 hours to shovel in town. It's
A lot of work.
It's work. It's not, that's why we don't, volunteers are tough to get. It's work. It's not just show up, spray some, shoveling, edges.
I think the sheriff and I both agreed to keep the team together, okay? And maybe that might be something that we may want to look into for those volunteers, maybe the stipend, something to look into over the next.
Well, I mean, the stipend makes sense, what Tommy's saying, but that would be for volunteers only. If we had deputies, they would be getting paid anyway.
Right, they get paid their
So
salary.
the way the team is structured is there's CNO specialists, which are volunteers.
Right.
All from the fire department, and investigators, which actually have been to that training or are going.
Right.
So, but the CNO team can get dispatched, and if they determine it's accidental fire, then at least not necessarily. They're going now because there's nobody.
There's no one to do it.
There's no one to do it.
But is there a cost to the course or no? At Margaret Hall?
Just for lodging and the rest of it's all free.
I'm just trying to think.
Do we
I'm
do,
stipend, what's it?
I think we pick up the lodging anyway, don't we? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that. So the stipend would only be for volunteers. Makes sense. It wouldn't be for deputies, if we get new deputies on. Right,
Deputies.
right. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, I hope, for you guys.
You're looking at 2 weeks of classes that you gotta have hotel rooms and food for. And, all that.
Right, and if they do have time on the books, they're on vacation or whatever, personal time from their own job, they're not with their family. And it's costing them out-of-pocket
It's a larger
expenses for their
stipend, I
time.
think, to really draw anybody in.
So the stipend would be, we're gonna pick up the meals in the hotel anyway. We do that, the county. Stipend would be the loss of wages of these individuals. We would try to help them a little bit. That's what he's saying.
Right.
So if you're gonna do that,
Throwing it out.
you're gonna do that, and we have deputies that are getting paid
But they're getting paid.
to do it already. The next thing's gonna be, well, I had to go on an investigation Monday morning at 10 a.m., and I didn't get done till 10 p.m. I missed a day's work.
Right, that's what they knew. We're just talking about the school there.
We're talking about school
I understand that,
training.
but you're not understanding what I'm saying. They're getting paid the whole time anyway.
Yeah, but these people are just volunteering. They understand they're volunteering their services. And it, Monday through Friday, 24/7. But in order to get to school, if they have to take time away from their home and their family
2 weeks.
for 2 weeks.
I just think it might be a slippery slope.
I mean, I think we're talking two different things. We're talking training, and that's what we're talking about.
Right, to get qualified and
Volunteers.
certified.
We're not talking about your scenario right now. But I hear what you're saying, but right now we're talking strictly training.
Maybe the best step to take, the sheriff and I will sit down, analyze it, and bring it back next month on that program, just to get a feel of it.
Is there any way for you to coordinate between sheriff's department, state police and the county
We do
and
that.
village police and
We
if I
invite,
get enough volunteers, enough people to get on this?
we do invite them all.
Yeah,
The
all
state
go down.
has, Jamie Davis is on the team, so there is one investigator. So if it turns into a crime, an arson, there has to be a police officer, one of them, whether it's a deputy or it's taking that. I find it, just so that's where it gets a little bit. They don't understand your point. Start with, you know, procedures. They go there first, volunteer different area. And if they immediately know it's an arson, or they can't figure it out, then they call for an investigator. And the deputy or the police investigator come and take it. But the way the volunteers have not been able to respond, and haven't sent deputies to all respond. So they're end up doing that. So they're doing reports on a lot of things that are not necessarily crimes. They're finding the cause as, you know, whether it was heat or sexual force, yeah. But somebody does have to do it. There used to be a women police officer on it. Paul Wong's the DEP police officer, he's on it. So there are several police officers who are trained on the team. But we can't be talking 24/7. There, if you get a big one or some fatalities, you know, probably got 4 or 5 investigators there, plus the state. Most brothers, that night, you had 14 investigators. They've become convoluted pretty quickly. And take a long time.
It was a decision, but say. Any further questions on that topic? Moving forward, I sent an email out. Hopefully, I don't think anybody got a copy of the PowerPoint presentation I sent out about 10 days ago about OSHA. Probably in my 52 years in the fire service, right now it's probably the most critical for what the future of the volunteer firefighter is in our communities. In my email, I mentioned that I spent a whole entire week down in Washington, DC with about 25 leaders of the state of New York and met up with the other volunteer states throughout the country to sit down and analyze what are we going to do. As I mentioned, the OSHA regulations that are in place right now are 44 years old. There's no question they are outdated. But after 9/11, it was suggested to the OSHA board to start reviewing those regulations. 20 some odd years later, here we are. In December of 2023, the OSHA board put these new regulations out for public comment for a period of 90 days. Once the agencies such as the National Volunteer Fire Council were aware of these proposals, communications to all states, fire organizations start to get together over the next few months. Yesterday morning, the House Homeland Security Subcommittee on Emergency Management and Technology held a hearing where representations from the National Volunteer Fire Council, the New York State Association, and the International Association of Firefighters. This was the very first time that they met at the table, all testifying and representing either the volunteer firefighter level or professional firefighter side. Dennis Deniston from Cortland, New York, who represented the state of New York, talked about his small little fire district in Cortland, New York. His fire district budget, as it is, was $280,000 a year. With these changes that are being proposed right now, the new regulations, his budget would increase 42%. You mentioned about this little town that he belongs to. It's a rural community and covers a population of 2,500. And as he says, our volunteers are first line of defense. how are they gonna survive? Along with the taxpayers can't afford the increase. After the hearing was completed, you could tell that there was a gap between the volunteers and the paid professional firefighters. We can only hope meetings will continue in the future to close the gap. So all will continue to serve our communities without additional demands on our volunteer firefighters and increase the expenses to our taxpayers. In my comment to the OSHA board last week, I highly recommend the board needs to understand the vast differences in the fire departments throughout the country. And more important, the makeup of our rural fire service throughout the United States. The OSHA board has now moved the public comment period now to July 22nd. So we are being heard and they are listening. I'm planning on sending information out to every fire company in the county, asking their leadership to send their comments in on the website as soon as possible. And as we move forward, and I probably spend 2 hours a day just trying to stay on top of the changes that are happening down in Washington. They stay on top of this. I will certainly get all the emails, PowerPoint presentations that I receive and make sure that all 14 of you are aware continuously the changes that are happening. The one item, this here is a chart that OSHA board came up with. And if they approve to move forward, training will increase another 100 some odd hours. And are giving every jurisdiction 12 to 24 months to complete that task. Pre-planning in your community, they're giving you 1 year to complete that task. Standard operating procedures, another 12 months. Emergency incident operation. So all these 22 demands that are standards, I'll call them, and if they make a motion to move forward, they are going to be rules that we have to follow. So it's a tremendous task that's in front of us. And I'm very happy that the National Volunteer Fire Council is working with all the states and that continuously, almost every day, we're having some type of webinar or getting together with the 185 members that belong to that council to try to stay on top of this situation. But I gave you the best short version of what's happening, but it's very, very critical.
John, could you send the actual OSHA document on all the changes? I know you have.
Did you receive the one I sent?
I didn't receive the actual document that tells all these different changes and requirements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a 608-page document. Okay. But what would be easier, I had just got another PowerPoint presentation given to me this morning, which is a little bit better than the one I sent out. I will certainly get that out tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it'll be Friday, but I'll get it out to you. Please, if you got any questions, please call. Because it's going to somehow, some way, it's going to affect all of us.
And what if we don't comply? What if fire districts say, so we can't do this, we're gonna keep going the way we're going? What then?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because it was mentioned down in Washington and a gentleman that was talking to Pesh from the state of New York. They reviewed the 608 pages. They said, how are we going to handle this? How are we going to, get out and enforce it? But the thing that scares all of us is the fact that they can sit, the problem is going to happen when somebody passes away or a firefighter gets injured and they come in and do an investigation and you don't look at all those civil lawsuits against the fire district and stuff. So the bottom line, and yesterday was the first time that they sat at a table, with Congress, with the committee, and it was Congress and some senators there as well. But the bottom line is that We need more meetings. There's no question that we need more, more training. And those OSHA laws have to be updated. I mean, it's been 44 years. But 65% of the country is volunteer fire department. So how can you shut us out?
Who came up with the 608 pages? Congress?
No, this was OSHA.
OSHA.
Another bureaucracy.
All right, another bureaucracy, but now,
A comment was made yesterday on this webinar that perhaps the Fed should send other rules and regs back to the state, let the state handle their own. And of course, they didn't go too far.
But I mean, they're well aware of our volunteerism, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Congress. I mean, 65% of the nation, you just said, is volunteer.
So one thing I will say, Harry, is that week that we spent down in Washington, we put a plan together. We went door to door to all the congressmen, Schumer's office, and they came up with a letter. Because they must have heard, but they didn't understand it. But they signed it was 38 of them, elected officials signed a letter that went to OSHA, said, hey, let's put the brakes on this.
Yeah.
And that's when we started getting the extension of more time for public comment. Hopefully these meetings will.
I mean, our numbers are dwindling as we sit here and speak. They're gonna dwindle even more after you start.
Well, that was my comment. I said to Sean yesterday, to the OSHA board is, in a time when we're fighting with retention and recruitment, and now we gotta be faced with this, there's no way. And there's no way that we can afford paid in the county of Greene.
Any discussion down there on being that OSHA's bureaucracy? The Chevron case in the Supreme Court about that doesn't allow these bureaucracies to actually go forward these things. This just has to be a act of your representatives vote to incur these things rather than these bureaucracies getting to pass these regulations down. They can forward these regulations to Congress, and then Congress, your representative, is supposed to yay or nay on it. And I didn't know if there was any discussion. Now, that's in front of the Supreme Court right now. And that will have huge ramifications.
And this goes one step further because OSHA's the regulatory agency, but NFPA is really the ones that go through and they make all the recommendations on what best practices and the best way to do things are. Nobody's required to follow NFPA recommendations, but if you've ever listened to any lawsuit that comes against an OSHA 1910 violation, that every time the court will say, well, how come you didn't follow this NFPA recommendation? And they don't want to hear it because they don't have to.
Right. All I can say, I'll send the PowerPoint out, and I will continue to send you emails as soon as I receive it, just to keep everybody up to speed.
So you said they hit the brakes?
Pardon me?
Have they hit the brakes?
They extended
They
the comment
extended it
period.
to the July 22nd now. So the more pressure you receive from Congress and the committees down there, the more they're extending. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So, other than that, Dan, you want to cover the 3 resolutions, regarding the towers and so forth? Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Yes.
Last month, we talked about continuing to build out the radio system and the various sub projects that we have going on. So the 3 resolutions we have on the communication system. One is the standard establishing the capital project number. Apparently we didn't do it last year when we accepted the grant. Then the other 2 is using the grant funds to purchase RF combining equipment for 5 of the tower sites. This is to make the fire response channel a repeated frequency, so everyone on the fire channel can hear everything across the county. And then the other is a Motorola control rack for the radio system itself.
Yay.
Questions? I mean, pretty
It's all
boring
part of
stuff.
the whole interoperable
Correct,
thing you've been doing, so that one tower talks to the next and.
correct, to build out this fully, interoperable, redundant, resilient communication system.
I don't have a question about that, but what about the tower they were talking about, what stories, did you get to the neighboring county? Did anything come out of that?
So, Sean and I were down at the Saugerties Planning Board meeting. They had no problem with it. They think that we don't even have to go before the planning for this. Planning attorney and the town attorney, along with Sean and or Ed, I don't know the logistics of that, are gonna iron all of that out. But that was, we were expecting a lot of pushback and got zero. So they were on board with it. They went through a similar project with Ulster County probably about a year and a half ago.
Something like that, Dan, are they able to, their emergency services able to use that tower too in that area of Ulster County, or?
They could, but they don't need to.
Okay,
So I spoke to my counterpart in Ulster County, Steve Peterson, but that won't help them at all.
Okay.
So as long as it stays for emergency communications, if it came along that a cellular carrier wanted to go on, then it changes everything and there's a whole separate process to go through with the town if we're to add that.
Just refresh us here, that particular tower, how is that gonna help us? Where's it going up the mountain, obviously?
So that becomes the connection point to Twilight, from microwave line of sight to the Twilight Tower, and to the County Route 67 and or our High Hill Tower.
So that's gonna reach all the way out to 67?
Yes.
Okay, because Twilight's a lot closer, obviously,
Yes.
from that.
So I mean, we can do microwave shots up to 25 miles. The longer distance, the bigger the microwave.
Now, we've done quite a bit over the last 10 years. I've thrown a number out there. So we've come quite a ways, correct?
Yes.
Okay, where do we need to still work?
So what comes next?
Yeah,
So,
what do we, where are we?
well, we're moving along on the Durham one. So after the story, is in, then it's the actual microwave connections. And then ideally, another tower, essentially the Durham Wyndham line, to get a line of sight from the current Wyndham Tower down through the valley, because our Wyndham Tower can't see anything in the valley.
Okay,
So if we could build Story, and then the one which, for working term, I call the Wyndham Durham connector. Build that, then the microwave dishes and equipment on all the sites themselves. And so we've been starting to get quotes on that. The initial project, the two initial microwaves landing. We're gonna go from the 911 center to American Tower and County Route 67 to High Hill. Also, from Hunter to Hunter Town Hall to Twilight. So as those connections, get those going. And then, so when the Story Tower gets built, Twilight will feed down to there, then up to 67.
and then you gotta go up to Durham from there,
So 67 can see Durham.
up the mountain.
And then, so yeah, what's still lacking though is a way up the Wyndham side, a line of sight for a microwave connection on the Wyndham side of the hill, Durham to Wyndham. Or Carroll, or anything to get up there.
Mhm. So you want the 23 corridor, Acre, Durham,
Right.
East
And then
Wyndham.
there's nothing there now.
Okay.
We'll
We come a long way.
Come a long way, just realize that there's been big close to this technology as
Yeah.
far as lifespan.
That's true.
Some of it will probably
Well,
replacing as we go.
some, a few things, but pretty good equipment, so. I mean, network switches all the time, right? You know, that's something, but they're relatively inexpensive. The radio for themselves at each tower site, we should easily get 20 years out of a radio. And I mean, granted, they're $12,000 radios each, and there's, 5 to 7 at each site, depending on what we're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on the proposed action items. First one, advocating against OSHA reforms in New York State for firefighters.
Martinez.
Martinez and Handel.
Lennon.
Lennon is the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Number 2, authorizing the purchase of radio controlled equipment for the 911 backup center. Davis and Martinez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Authorizing the purchase and installation of RF combining equipment. Handel and Bloomer, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Authorizing the Greene County Sheriff Department to oversee the Greene County Fire Inspection Team.
Lennon.
You got Martinez and who?
Lennon.
Lennon and Handel, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. And number 5, establishing capital project number 150-2023 statewide interoperable communications emergency services. Handel,
Torrington also.
Torrington, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Anything else to come before public safety?
Chairman Hobart, I just wanted to discuss a couple things. After the chain of events that occurred last week in our state judicial system and the attack on our citizenry and their Bill of Rights, I'm wondering why in Greene County we would want to further involve ourselves with our judicial system at the state level. And I think we should seriously think about that. I don't think we should allow any of that to take place in Greene County because we're here to defend our citizens and their Constitution and their Bill of Rights. We're not here to defend state bureaucracies or county bureaucracies in any manner. That's our role. Nothing more, nothing less. So I think it should be in the back of your heads, because if they can do that down there, they can do it anywhere here in this state. And I think we need to keep that in mind. So that's all I gotta say, Tom.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Handel. Torrington. We are adjourned.